Two women just graduated from Army Ranger School, starting the all-too-familiar debate of women in combat. After more than 10 years of war, with women already participating alongside, is there any science that says they shouldn't be all that they can be? Hey everybody, thanks for watching D-News Today. I'm Trace. When First Lieutenant Shaye Haver and Captain Kristen Griest passed the 9-week training program to become Army Rangers, they made history. But they also made the news. Ranger School is the Army's most rigorous training program. 36% of attendees fail in the first 4 days, and only 42% will finally walk away with the coveted black and gold Ranger tab. But even though these women passed all the tests, they still may never see combat. In January of 2013, the then Secretary of Defense Leon Panetta announced the end of male-only combat, requiring women be allowed to serve in combat roles by January of 2016. Many argue that women aren't ready for frontline combat or simply cannot manage the hell that is war. And as the equality train hits the voting booth, the bedroom, the workplace, and onward, the theater of war is yet another stop. After Panetta's order, the armed forces began conducting studies and assessing standards to see if sex integration will be the future of our military. Women have been part of fighting forces for decades, in Sri Lanka's Tamil Tigers, Ireland's IRA, soldiering in Sierra Leone and elsewhere. But now the U.S. has to determine if they can open the remaining 220,000 men-only jobs to women too. According to military data, 3 things are important for combat readiness: mental health, physical capability, and proper training. A National Center for PTSD study in 2011 found that men and women developed mental health issues equally after combat, firing a weapon in combat, being fired upon, handling human remains, and witnessing injury and death. But men were more likely to fall into substance abuse. Those findings were supported by another study in the Journal of Psychiatric Research. But a 2006 study of women and men in combat found emotional responses were different. And, quote, in stressful situations, men are more likely to resort to physically aggressive responses than women. According to a piece in Time by Pulitzer Prize-winning reporter Mark Thompson, who covers national security, aggression leads to more accidents and injuries in men. It would seem mentally women can hack it as well as men, and may handle some things better as they don't abuse substances, become aggressive, or injure themselves due to stress. Physically, though, women do have less upper body strength than men overall. This is according to a 2004 U.S. Army study on the topic. Women do have smaller hearts, skeletons, and muscle mass, and a greater percentage of body fat relative to their male colleagues, which ups the injury rate significantly. Injuries are anything that takes a service member out of combat. Pregnancy adds to women's injury stats. But even if you remove that from the data, women are hospitalized at 30% higher rates than men. According to data from the Pentagon, men are hospitalized for general injuries, poisonings, and disorders of the muscles, skin, or connective tissues, while women are hospitalized for genital and urinary disorders, mental disorders, and tumors. With this in mind, the military is working to design gender-neutral training programs and better understand all of these injuries. Even though women on average have less strength, not all women are weaker or prone to injury. Some females are stronger than males, and they deserve an equal chance at a combat position. And that is echoed by Army General Martin Dempsey, chairman of the Joint Chiefs. According to every statement I read, military requirements will not be eroded, lowered, lessened, or lightened in any way on the road to gender neutrality in combat. Instead, they will attempt to make it about science and observation, and ensure that people can perform needed duties. If so, they get the job, period. According to a 1980 paper assessing women in combat by Major Thomas H. Cecil, people should be, quote, allowed to serve in whatever role that could use best the talent and capability each individual has. After racial integration and the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, the military changed. It was disrupted at first, but it gets over it as long as people are perceived fairly and equally in training and practice. There's no evidence males break down when females are killed or injured in battle, or are distracted by their fellow female warriors. As long as the training is equal, our armed forces are trained to protect each other regardless of which chromosomes we possess. Of course, there will be sex between members of the military, but that's not new at all. GIs in every war we've ever engaged in found girls abroad. And that tradition continues now with women as well. But the fear comes from societal stereotypes about female sexuality, not facts or science. In the end, they are service members first and women second. Caliber and ability are the currencies of the armed forces. As serving females are trained equally and prove that they can do anything fellow males can do, they will earn the same benefits. To serve their country as a volunteer in America's armed forces, being first. If you want to show your support from home, why don't you start a website and showcase your support for your favorite female service member? You can do that by going to domain.com, who helped sponsor this episode. No domain extension will help you tell your story like a .com or .net domain name. And because you watch DNews, you can get 15% off domain.com's names and web hosting by using the code DNews when you check out. How do you feel about women serving on the front lines of the military? Tell us down in the comments. Make sure you subscribe for more DNews and keep coming back here every day.